Welcome back. I'm here with Joey Brennan, the founder of C.A.R.E, and a renowned musician, and I want to take time in this segment to talk to you about that. We've had the opportunity to play together, and we'll discuss that in a moment. But I'd like for you to tell us a little bit about your history. It's a pretty colorful past, and I know that there are, just to be able to talk to somebody that experienced the Summer of Love and all the activities that were going on at that time.
Oh, well, yeah. I originally came out of Newark, New Jersey, and grew up down in that whole Hudson, Essex County area. I lived in Kearney, New Jersey, and all the great blues musicians out of Newark. We had all the great R&B shows down at Branford Theater and stuff like that. So that was my music baseline. Mm-hmm. And from there, I moved out, and eventually, you had basically all your high school bands and all that stuff. And then I made the jump across the river to New York City. And at that particular time, I hooked up with, I was working with a band called Rick Martin and Showman. And the guy the singer from Vanilla Fudge, Mark Stein, was in that band. And we decided that we wanted to move ahead and do some more things. So we had left that group, and bass player Joey Brennan got drafted, and Tim Bogart came in. And there's Mark and myself and Tim, and then we got Vinnie Martell. We brought him in. Mm-hmm. Vinnie was from the Bronx. Got his number off a agent on 45th Street of all places. And
well, as long as it wasn't off a phone booth or something.
No, it wasn't at a phone booth. Yeah, right. Actually, yeah. Have Guitar Will Travel in the Bronx, and that's where he lived, in the Bronx. So we formed that group, and we worked with a lot of different people. We worked with, Steppenwolf when they were Sparrow, and we worked with all kinds of people of that. Vagrants, when Leslie West was with the Vagrants, and Young Rascals used to help us out and all that. We moved on. We got to a point where that band became quite popular, but Mark and Timmy wanted to make a change and get into more orchestrational type of things. I was basically a blues drummer, R&B kind of guy, so there was kind of a split there, and that's Brother Carmine came in there, Carmine and Peace.
Right, sure. And
we're friends, and a lot of people say, well, did you just like that guy? He took your job. I go, well, no, he was perfect for that band. That was just the way it was. He was perfect. He's a great drummer, as everyone knows. I moved on to a band called the Younger Brothers, which eventually ended up working with Bonnie Bramlett before Bonnie was with Delaney. Amazing. And that took us to Chicago and all the Chicago blues. And we used to work the whiskey in Chicago, always freezing. Moved out to the West Coast. And then that was a whole other deal, West Coast.
And were you living on the houseboats then?
Well, later. I eventually got back on the house. I got on the houseboats later on. Uh-huh. At that particular time, I was working, believe it or not, in a place called Redwood City. And the guy down the street from me was Sylvester Stone, Sly Stone. I got to know him. Sly was great. I said, oh, my God, this guy's going to be a big star, which he was.
Right,
he became. A very nice fellow, had a Baptist minister dad, was beyond the bus, and he was great fun. I think at that point, actually, the Younger Brothers broke up down in L.A., down in Hollywood, on the Strip. Mm-hmm. And I came back to New York, did some things back in New York, and then went back out to the West Coast again. And that's when I ended up in Haight-Ashbury, living there for a while, and then a few things happened rent-wise, and we had to move, and so someone directed me to the Sausalito waterfront, which was an artist community, and a lot of boats, and I eventually got a boat and started living on it, and I joined an art rock group called the Redlegs, which is a whole other trip.
But they actually did have some sort of success and sort of a cult following in that area.
They did,
correct?
yeah, the Redlegs most definitely did. We lived in close very close to like John Cipollino from Quicksilver. The Dead used to like us. The Hell's Angels loved us because we played their kind of music. Right. And but we were basically just we did great outside gigs. We never really had a successful CD or anything. We never pushed it. Columbia wanted us, but the story. They said, "Oh my God, these people are unrecordable." Well, it was like an extreme art rock group, And they still do reunion shows, and as a matter of fact, they're up for California, for Marin County Hall of Fame. They're actually I mean, that and 55 cents will get me the Daily News and a seat in the park, but it's nice to see that they've been nominated, you know?
Yeah, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, I know because I saw the video that you guys had done back then, and apparently even that sort of is a popular viewing. For,
Yeah, it is. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Is it on YouTube or?
It's there's cuts from it on YouTube, but the movie by Saul Ruda, who was a filmmaker who actually filmed the Redlegs in length, is a award-winning indie film that travels around the country. So he got us live back in the day, you know, and it was a lot of fun.
But eventually, then you kind of like left the music business somewhat.
I mean, my story basically, you know, edited runs like I had my boat in California. I lived on it. There was a lot of other people who lived on their boat as well in that particular area in Sausalito. Unfortunately, like my drinking and drugging got to the point where I was basically, as far as I was concerned, really not in control of my.
So you really were living the summer of love lifestyle. Then.
Yeah, and it took its toll. I was starting to pay the piper, big time. I believe that God in His infinite mercy moved me out of there. When I got back to the East Coast is where I actually got clean and sober after a couple of years.
And now, I mean, I happened to meet you about 3 years ago,
right?
Through a mutual musician, Red
Yeah.
Tyler, and all of a sudden you got inspired to want to get back into music. I remember he invited you to come up on stage, and you felt kind of awkward because you hadn't done it in so long.
Right.
And now, you know, we just finished producing a record, which is a wonderful tribute, first of all, to your desire to create something and to actually be out there, because you have your own message. And the album is called Restored.
Yes.
And I had the privilege of helping you to produce and write some
absolutely.
of the songs.
You did a fantastic job, and as far as like with arrangement on a lot of the material.
Yeah.
And of course, I was inspired by when you guys had come up to do our retreat benefit, the Red Tyler and Early Warning, and you guys were like over the top. You played so well the 2 times you were there that I actually started talking to you, and you told me that you had vision to do some things like this, and that's come into fruition.
Right. And actually, we were really fortunate. Besides Red, who played on half of the album, one of your old compadres from the Vanilla Fudge days,
absolutely,
Vince Martell, graced his guitar, and also his wife Peg Pearl sang on one of the songs. It was just wonderful to be able to play with these guys. And my memories of our session is where in the moment we would create these tracks and basically in 3 takes have it done. It was really extraordinary to be playing under those circumstances.
I have great memories of it. It was too bad that wasn't filmed, but it's in my head. And you know, Reverend Bob McCartan on there, and Richie Harps, and yourself, and Lenny Post. I mean, it's great.
Well,
great
we're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we're gonna do an impromptu jam on one of these songs, kind of a different sort of a thing. Let Go, Let God. So music on the flip side.
Okay.